Hello. I was told that it's kosher to react to people reacting about my reaction to my reaction. So I'm going to react to Ironmouse reacting to my reaction to her, wonderful song, and then also maybe go into some conversation about some of the things I said and so on. And yeah, let's watch this.
For taking time to watch the music video. It means a lot to me. A video is very important to me.
Opera song, huh? I've never heard her sing before.
You're so, like, getting to hear him, like, talk about, like, the technical aspects of the song in my voice. What a treat. I haven't heard some of the stuff that he talks about. I haven't heard that shit since I was back in school.
Thing is, that's so funny. I mean, I didn't say anything particularly crazy. I mean, really, the fundamentals of singing are based on three different things, really. Breath support and breath energy, focused tone, and really just, honestly, it's those two are the fundamental things. There are other aspects that are complicated that are also escaping me now because it's been like 6 years since I've even thought about it. But like fundamentally, like when I first started singing, one of the key things we learned was to lay on our backs and put a book on our belly. And when you breathe, you want to breathe laterally from left and right. And then eventually you also want to expand the belly. And when you expand outward like that, what ends up happening is your diaphragm kind of pops out and your belly kind of ends up looking like a beach ball. And I always found this such an interesting thing because you become a tube. And as the air travels up through the body, goes up, out, over the cords, and comes up over into the soft palate, with the soft palate being raised, lower larynx, and then it comes out the front part of your mouth, the nose and the nasopharynx, the oropharynx. That's how we produce sound, and that's how we carry over orchestras, and that's how we are able to create that operatic musical theater is similar sound with vibrato, because vibrato is just buoyancy of air and breath. And also thank you to everybody that commented on this video, because my original video, because I really didn't know much about Ironmouse's situation. So it really is a miracle that she has been able to like work towards this like recovery. And to be able to put out something like this, mind you, also with a sinus infection, which is madness to me, because it is so, I mean, it's like so difficult to sing when you're sick. So, working through all of this stuff that I can't really speak on because it's way more complicated than just what I've read, obviously, and I didn't go into super great detail, but like, the journey to recovery, to then also have a sinus infection while singing sick. I did a masterclass when I was in undergrad, and I had to sing like a French aria. And I mean, I was all over the place because it changes the way that you feel and sense everything is about sensation. Oh, I know exactly where that is. It's like right here and right here. Oh, and right here. So when you're sick though, and this gets blocked, oh, where's it going? You don't know. Yeah. Anyway. Wow, this is a really good orchestration. What is this? Ironmouse opera song. Music Box of Fate. Vocals by Ironmouse.
Yeah, you know,
animated and directed by Studio Adventure Noise. Motion graphics by
They
Ray.
were so good.
Music by Starlight and Wonder. Original score by Starlight Daryl.
Daryl,
it's a great
Daryl!
composition. This is glorious. See, this is the thing. Modern composition is out there. Like, why can't this be in an opera? Why can't you present this in an orchestra? Just even off the bat. I mean, like the way the strings are, all this other stuff.
We talked about this before though, like all this like opera, all this like classical music, it's shifted into like games
One
and
million
other
percent.
things, you know?
1,000,000
Like
percent.
you don't really have people writing operas anymore, but people are like writing these beautiful pieces for these amazing games, and I just think it's so amazing how like the medium is still alive. It's still alive and it's thriving because of the games industry.
I talk about this all the time. I mean, video game music is the forefront of really great classical writing. Now, there is still, modern compositions being written. Kevin Putz comes to mind, Jake Heggie, Tom Chiapullo. There are, others out there. But the reality is that I think something that happened in modern classical writing is that it got over academized, which is not a word. It became too academic, which is a real problem. We over time started to forget about the importance of melody and started shifting into this idea of like having to constantly be writing in a very educated way, and kind of inadvertently stripping away the emotion out of the whole thing, or it's overly complex and really difficult to sing. I mean, like you look at a piece like Streetcar Named Desire by Andre Previn, that thing is so hard. Now it is a piece of modern classical opera, but it's also got like movie music connections due to Andre Previn's past and his upbringing and stuff. But like Jake Heggie writes really beautiful melodies. But day in and day out, the thing that always catches me off guard about video game music that I delight in is the fact that here we have FromSoft and we have Expedition 33. We have topping like the top 15 Billboard for classical music. I mean, that's absurd. You have just countless games. Babylon's Fall has one of the most glorious, and it's a dead game that no one even thinks about or talks about. You've got countless examples of Ace Combat, of all things. Like you have countless examples of pieces that are being written. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, prime example that's brand new of music that is written with the perspective of the classical ideology in mind. And it's crazy. It's crazy that this is reality. Monster Hunter. You put some of this stuff in an orchestra hall, including this piece, and people wouldn't know what to do with it. Because they're so used to seeing the hits, or the sponsors and the donors just want the specific things that they know work well. And they know also because, they need to bring in money at the same time. But video games are at the forefront of that, I think. And it's this is the time to be a video game music fan and a singing fan, I think.
I mean, it's always thriving, but you know what I mean. Like a whole new audience that has never like given opera like a second look is looking into opera songs. Like think about this. Like I feel like Expedition 33 is a good example because you have people that love like opera and stuff, but I feel like when Expedition 33 came out, like classical music, like everybody was obsessed with the soundtrack, everybody was obsessed with the music, with the songs, and it just brought people into like this circle of like, holy shit, I never like sat down and listened to this stuff before. And then they just started like researching and looking into like other stuff.
Well, and she's right, and the medium, that's a really great point, is that the medium, one of the biggest struggles that I think modern opera companies and the opera industry and classical music industry struggle with is outreach. And we struggled with this, and we would do tours of kids shows or like reduced versions of operas and go into nursing homes and high schools and middle schools, because the goal is, okay, well, how do we get people to then, especially with the high schoolers and middle schoolers, how do we get them when they're young so that they have become interested in what this stuff has to offer, which is emotional depth and beautiful music and, beautiful things. And actually, I'm curious how Ironmouse, because I know that she really wanted to go into classical music and have a career in opera. And I'm curious, like, what inspired her to want to pursue that. Because as far as I understand, it wasn't her family who was like, you should be a singer, but it was her who was like, I want to be a singer. So I'm curious about that. Also, I think it's really, games meets people where they are. And I think like that's a beautiful thing. Symphonies right now are doing a lot more video game music concerts. I remember I went to one in DC and they were like, okay, we came to you, now you come to us. And I was like, no, bro, no, just do more of this. Just like mix and match it. Why are you constantly it's not this or that. It's all the same damn thing. Just combine it. Just do Beethoven and whatever, Clair Obscur, or like, you know, you can mix and match it. You can do a Ludwig the Holy Blade with Carmina Burana. It's the same damn thing. In fact, Carmina, you know, they're kind of borrowing from the Karl Orff style anyway. Verdi Requiem and Ludwig the Holy Blade and Lawrence the First Vicar, or anything from Babylon's Fall, or Nostalgia Phantasm from Lost Ark. I mean, they're all the same. Just throw all that stuff together. But yeah, she had a great point.
So, any games? Yeah, hire me.
Hire me too. But actually, you could hire Mouse for video games, because more often than not, based on my over 2,000 different songs that I've listened to, not only on my Patreon, but also like in my videos, I have like 1,500. I'm a crazy person. I just love this stuff so much. Like, her voice, actually, especially in the upper register, but even down here, there's a really lovely breathy quality, which is not a negative, that would work. And video games tend to hire sopranos and lighter voiced sopranos at that, because of usually the angelic sound. Usually it's the voice of God, and we actually see that in classical music as well, where we have like Giuseppe Verdi writing a lot of, you know, there's the soprano that represents the choir of the celestial choir, that you would hear in Don Carlo, for instance, or the first priestess is a soprano in Verdi's Aida, and you get that a lot in opera, and in this particular instance, I mean, yeah, video game companies should hire Ironmouse, because she has the appropriate sound for that angelic celestial voice. Because it's funny, because I remember asking a composer, I said, how come you don't hire as many male singers as you do to like sopranos? And he was like, because of the mix, it's easier with sopranos because of where their voices sit. So I was like, hire me. And he was like, well, no, I mean, essentially, but I mean, realistically, Ironmouse's voice is 1,000,000% good enough to be a part of, especially because it can be recorded from home. It can be done like in a little booth, like just get a little bit of a sound isolation thing going. Like, there's no reason why, especially in the upper register, why that couldn't be a reality. Wait, but you know, I didn't talk about this when I first listened to this, and I genuinely, this piece is, Daryl did so well. This piece has been in my head for 3 days over the weekend. This is really difficult. So, endlessly, it's just a lift. Like, it's not like she like has a big break. And the thing is, I mentioned this in my video about tessitura, and tessitura is really complex because it's about your muscles in your neck more than anything, and taking the breath necessary to sustain phrases. And this song is tricky because it's in the middle range of her voice, and in really my voice as well, because I'm the highest of the male voice types and she's the highest of the female voice types. So soprano, tenor, it's obviously it's octaves lower, octave being like eighths down. We won't get into that, but so this is difficult. Endlessly, I mean, that's like hard to do over the course of a 5-minute piece, you know. With your voice,
hire me.
Right there, that sustain. I mean, and some like trills and grace notes.
when I did not expect that breath to be in there. I mean, I'm glad it's in there. It's nice, but like,
Oh, the
I just
breath.
think about that breath, and I think about my teacher
Because
saying,
he goes,
"Do not breathe out loud."
wait. Yeah, because it was a loud catch breath. It was a loud catch breath. I think it adds quite a bit of, all the imperfections actually add to the performance. And nothing is ever perfect anyway, but that's hilarious because, yeah, you're absolutely not supposed to breathe out loud unless it's for dramatic intention. But in general, you wouldn't want to go, you wouldn't want to do a big catch like that. You would want to go, which, by the way, if you ever want to feel your soft palate lift, we're getting really technical here. Just go, when you do that, you actually, the cool air that hits the back of your throat, that's the feeling of the soft palate going up. But anyway, don't do that too much. You'll hyperventilate. But point being is that, like, that's actually really funny that her teacher would yell at that, because you really should never do that. like unless you're like, but you would never want to do that. But that's really funny that she knows that.
Do not breathe out loud.
Do not breathe out loud. It's funny. Yeah, you're really not supposed to do that.
I'm like,
wow, that's really something, isn't it? I mean, it's really good. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest. Not because I don't think she's talented, but I've never heard Ironmouse sing before. I know her stream, like, her voice is very light, and it has a nice has a point to it. It's fairly like in the nose. It's very,
well,
like,
he dissects my voice
not nasal
so well
per se, but it's just very, like, light and stuff. And so here, it's interesting because we don't get an over.
It's crazy because, like, when I speak, like, I know to some people they think that it's nasally, but I don't speak completely in, like, my nasal cavity. Like, my voice comes from, like, it doesn't come from my chest. It doesn't come from, like, it's like a middle area. I can't really explain it. Like, I can hear my voice resonating, like, in my head, but it's not completely, like, in the nose.
So it's not completely in her nose. And honestly, how many times have I heard Ironmouse speak? So I was just kind of, when I said it's not exactly nasal, I wasn't saying that her voice is nasal. What I was saying is it has a bright point that is so. This is a whole separate, very complicated conversation about pointing the mask. And so in singing, we have this thing called the maschera. It's an Italian word for a mask. And usually we'll talk about placing the voice, but we're not actually placing anything. It's just, what it is you would never want to go, because that will be nasal. If you place the voice in the mask, which is really the cheekbones and the nose, it's going to come out. I'm placing it there. But the idea is that you don't want to get stuck in your throat. You don't want to go, because you're never going to get up over the top of the upper notes, regardless of your vocal range. And so it makes sense. She doesn't actually have a nasal voice. I mean, she has quite a bright voice, but it's really actually probably in the column, which, someone says here throat, and it's not the throat. It's literally the middle point of the mouth. It's probably right in the back of the mouth, without going too far forward into the nose, and then obviously not talking back here, which is talking into the throat. You wouldn't want to do that, obviously. So it's just, yeah, I get what she says. I mean, she does have a bright voice, but it's not nasal. It's not like, oh. We're not going for this, like, oh, a little bit of that soft palate lift in the back.
I do not think I have the amount of strength and control in order to give that sort of, like,
that creates the operatic. She's talking about the soft palate lift. I don't know. I actually, maybe not in a sustained way, but I think she actually does, because she does it later on in the song, and she holds it for quite a while, and it doesn't waver. So I mean, that's interesting. It's interesting. Well, she knows herself more than obviously I do, but I think it's interesting because she does it later. Sound. There is some breath, of course. it's not necessarily like fully like the chords and stuff, but it doesn't really matter. That sentence doesn't make any sense. What it does is it produces this really beautiful vibrato.
Thank you.
It carries so really cute. Well. Like it feels very rich and buoyant. And it's interesting too because in the beginning, the way that she says thank you. Oh my god, it's so cute. No, but it's true. She there is a buoyant. Oh, it's so sweet. Thank you. Oh my god. It is buoyant. It is buoyant. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having the faster vibrato at the beginning and then slowly easing into the vibrato. You know, vibrato is a vibrato tastes are very subjective, I think, and it doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with the technique or anything. And also the way I'm talking about Ironmouse's singing is from a place of a peer rather than like I know what she's been through now and I understand everything that she's gone through. It really is a miracle that she's able to sing at this level. You know, and the reality is that like I feel it's better to speak as a colleague and a peer. Because then you can learn and improve, and it's clearly something that she's deeply passionate about. And honestly, she's probably more passionate about opera than I am and was, to be honest. Which makes the whole situation even more frustrating for me that she didn't have the opportunity, without speaking out of turn, obviously, she didn't have the opportunity to try it, or go as far as she would have liked, and to have this platform to introduce people to opera and her singing and things is so incredibly special. And in a way, she's much. I actually feel this way too. I feel like in a lot of ways, she's probably reached more people than she ever could have singing opera. I mean, she's seen well over millions upon people, millions, maybe billions. I don't know how many views she's had in her like cumulative life as a streamer, but like for me, I've crossed 100 million views. I guarantee you that's more people that have seen my content about songs that they like, but about like, you know, from the perspective of an opera singer than ever could have in my performance days where, you know, maybe on a good night, you know, you're singing to 4,000 people or something. So like Ironmouse has created a platform that actually probably appreciates music as much or more than concert goers who maybe are only going to the opera because they, you know, love the opera. And opera itself has changed quite a bit. And like at the turn of the 20th century, with folks like Lily Pons, which actually she reminds me a bit of, or Enrico Caruso. You know, these people were household names, or these people were folks that you go to the opera to see. And I think we still have a culture like that now, for folks like VTubers or obviously celebrities and you know, whatever musical talent, like that hasn't really gone away, but it was the case that opera singers were those household names that people would go to see them for. And I think that, I think Mouse here has really cultivated a group of people that adore not only her, but also like singing and the miracle that it is to be able to produce this kind of a style of singing. Cause it is very difficult. Vibratos, sopranos, and some singers in general goes down a bit and it gets really this lovely evenness to it, much like she had with the faster vibrato. Mm-hmm. And then when she goes up into the upper register, beautiful, like super great use of like production.
Thank you.
Whatever the notes are. And again, really nice. There's no muscle.
Thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had a great stream. Thank you. Thank you for the raid. When I was in school and took like vocal lessons and stuff, my teacher would teach me like vibrato control, and like I had to practice like doing it slow, doing it fast. Like I had to do a lot of practice. It was a lot. Because the first thing that she told me was that I need to get my shit under control and not let my vibrato. Because when I was younger, like my vibrato would go haywire, out of control, where it was like crazy, and I couldn't control it at all.
Yeah,
Really
I mean that
nice.
is a thing, and each singer goes on their individual journey. For me, it's always been about tension and not singing in my nose, and really singing with a full-bodied, open-throated, lowered larynx sound. And I really, for 4 years of my career, when I was studying, not my career, when I was studying, I tended to sing in my nose. And so I really struggled getting out of the box, as it were. And I think the box really refers to like this part of the face. And really stepping into the open-throated sound that is really predominant. But the problem with that for me as well was tension in the neck. And I still hear it when I do covers now. Where I'll push, and pushing is a real predicament. You don't want to push, and everybody pushes, but you also need to be careful because that's how you get fatigued and tired and hoarse and so on and so forth.
There's no muscle strain.
Yeah, so she doesn't have any
which is
muscle
something
tension
that,
really.
For instance, me, I tend to get carried with.
I've had to learn that because it used to be very painful. When I used to sing. It used to hurt like a lot. Now, not so much now.
It's really
Yeah, and I don't know if she means because of the stuff she's gone through, or if she means in general. Because it can hurt. It can hurt if you tighten too much and use your neck. But also beyond that, I think like, you know, having to learn and relearn how to use this stuff is really challenging, because it's all like, we're talking like, you know, the vocal folds are, you know, how big are they? And a couple years ago, when I say that, I actually mean like 10 years ago, I had a vocal hemorrhage, and both my cords were damaged, and I had to go on vocal rest for about 2 months by not speaking, because I needed to be better for 4 months later to sing in an opera. And I never fully recovered from that experience. I mean, I did, but it changed my sound. And I remember my teacher had said, well, you suffered this vocal injury. Now you're going 6 months backwards, and everything we just did to like get you to a place of like really being in your body and in your throat and being, you know, really being able to use your body that way, we have to go backwards and kind of reset. And that sucked. So, I mean, whatever she's talking about here, like it can hurt very much, depending on how you're using it and all sorts of different things. But yeah, it's really interesting. It's I actually love this phrase.
That's genuinely sway my heart. It's done in a really nice way where it's right in the right spot of her range.
Yeah, it's
really
right in the
nice
column.
vowels, and everything's
Sway
really clean.
my heart.
It doesn't feel like she's overproducing from the nose.
She's not. Yeah, it was right in the.
I want to keep
what
listening.
does she
In
say?
my
Like
nose.
she's stuck over and producing from the nose.
You can't
and it
even
doesn't
see my
feel like
nose.
she's stuck sort of
You can't even see my nose.
dictation too. Nothing could sway my heart.
Yeah, I thought
And
she had
that's like-
really
those
good
are- I think
diction.
That's a G.
I love the tango-ness of the song. Bro, Daryl, everybody that worked on this song, they cook.
They did cook. It's a very good song. Great lyrics. Great. This is insanely hot. This gets rough. This gets
And that's hard.
really.
That's
yeah,
hard.
this is really
So
hard.
This is really hard.
Thank you. Oh my God. What a treat. What a treat. Because I feel like when people hear songs like this, they think, oh my God, high note must be hard. But people don't really take into account that there are specific things that are harder than hitting a high note like this.
So it's actually first of all, it's a treat for me actually to, you know, I gotta say, I don't want to belabor this or make this video longer than it has to be because it's already like 30 minutes. But the one thing I wanted to say was, this has been a treat for me actually, because I have a lot of insecurity. I wouldn't say it's insecurity, but I have a lot of like, sometimes the doubts creep in when I think about the fact that, you know, I left opera because of anxiety,
and stress and feeling like it was going to kill me. And I really felt like I didn't have anywhere to turn, and that my dream became my nightmare, in that way. I really felt like I was going to die. I couldn't hold down food. I would spend my entire day and the performance itself in the restroom. I was having full-blown panic attacks before performances, during performances. Literally, I remember I was doing an Elixir of Love in Santa Barbara, and one of my friends had to put his hand on my back because my entire body was like tense, and I was literally I would have multiple panic attacks in one performance. And I never felt satisfied, because then I was also taking Pepto and Imodium and just trying to like get on stage and do it. And I mean, I would get such bad dry mouth that then I felt like my notes were all really, really bad. And there was very few performances that I was actually proud of. And I was always very happy when I received my applause, and because I love attention. No, it was really difficult for me to sustain, and that dream really, it really messed me up. And so for me, seeing this is, it warms my heart, because it reminds me that, I did it. I've done it. I accomplished things, and no one can take that away from me. And I chose to go, but it also breaks my heart, because I wish that she had the opportunity to do it the way that she wanted to do it, and the dream that she had. And that's why I'm really, I'm really happy that she put this out and continues to. I know there's other videos of her singing I'd eventually like to see, that she does this and allows herself to flex that musical muscle, because she deserves to. And anybody that loves to sing, deserves to be able to have the opportunity to do it in whatever capacity. So I know that must have been a real challenge for her to how to materialize that dream. And in my case, it's like how to revive it, at least in some way, because it was terror every day. 14 years, there was a period where I couldn't wait to just get older so that it would finally be my turn. And then it was my turn, and it was not what I anticipated. And I felt really stupid for not thinking about the fact that it was not going to be like my dreams made it out to be. And so I would often think back to my childhood self and think, wow, wow, what have you done? So it's yeah, I don't know. I felt like sharing that.
He calls it out several times.
But this is really good. Song resounds forever. Like, that's the thing. She holds the notes, and the vibrato moves at a very good, healthy pace. And on top of that, she's able to navigate, the tessitura, which I mentioned earlier. It's not about the high note. Really, the high note, it's all the stuff that comes before it. Oh, resounding, all the stuff that comes before a high note, the vowels, the words themselves, the vowels, the where it sits in the range before, the leaps, the steps, the jump up to the high note. The high note itself really will take care of it. That comes down to technique, which, I mean, it's incredible to me that, she has retained and continued to use this technique, or reworked her technique, or whatever the complexities of that are. She's been able to do that in spades, because her upper register is very, very good, very good, and then her lower register has this like nice, like very simple sound to it that I think really, really works. But that's what I said earlier. Like, she, hire me. She said that, and I don't think she's joking. And realistically, she could be hired. And especially to record from home. I mean, why not? I'm a big advocate for that, and I've done a bit of it myself now, and it's like, yeah, why not? can get kind of stuck, and she doesn't. Just repeating the same notes sometimes can get kind of stuck, and she doesn't get stuck.
It's hard to repeat.
It is hard to repeat. But also this, I'd go to hell and back again. The way that she's willing to, it really feels like she's feeling that phrase. And you hear, I'd go to hell and back again. The way that she just kind of delivers that line, you can tell it's very personal to her. But also, it's not, I'd go to hell and back again. It's not perfect. It's not no. Nothing should be metronomic and even. There's flexibility in the notes that we sing. We can't just go, I'd go to hell and back again. You could do staccato like that if it was intentional. But to be able to go, I'd go to hell and back again, that's appropriate. And it sounds great because it makes it personal. Yeah, that was not a fake reaction. Really cool.
Thank you.
It's so cute. You're welcome.
I'm honored. Oh yeah, that part was rough for me.
Well,
that part was rough.
It was probably rough because you go up into the upper register and then have to like hit the notes and slide down. But it's like, because the voice, it's really hard to reset after a high note. You know what I mean? It's very hard to reset after a high note and then go lower because the voice and the larynx creep up and they want to stay in the upper register. Once you sing in an upper register for a long time, and really here at this point, we're kind of in the middle of voice tending towards the upper range. It's really easy to get stuck. And then, especially, I'm pretty sure she recorded it. Well, she said she recorded it with a sinus infection, so that's even makes it even freaking harder. I don't know how she did it. I literally couldn't do that. Anyway, it just becomes difficult to navigate once you're already up there because your voice naturally wants to stay up there. And usually what ends up happening is if you stay up in a tessitura for a long time, pop up into a high note, the lower range is going to suffer regardless. And that happened to me constantly. That's actually a hard phrase to repeat. Man, we won't run.
Thank you.
Really,
so
the way she pops up, really good technique. Really good technique. Hold on.
Thank you.
So sweet. It's the trip. And then she,
The 5 gifted subs.
like the tiniest bit of wavering, but it doesn't really matter, right? For you.
He caught it.
Really...
Oh my god, oh my god. I knew he was gonna catch it. Oh my god. I knew he was gonna catch that, dude. I was just like, shit. Even me, when I heard the song and like the final master came out, I was like, shit. You guys don't understand. Like Daryl was like, it's perfect. It's done. And I heard it, and I'm like, and I was like, that's it. Cancel it. We have to do the whole song
redo
over.
it.
And she was like, what are you talking about? It's perfect. And I'm like, nope. That part did not sound right to me. And so every time I hear the song, I hear that part, and I'm like, ugh.
That's such not a big deal. And also it does add, it adds personality and emotion to it. It does. And that's the thing about imperfections. It's just like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like people be like, well, what is the construct? What is the feedback? What is the critique? And it's like, well, who cares? Who cares if there's wavering? You know what I mean? I was there. I heard it, so I might as well say it. But I mean, like, that's normal. It's because the phrase is really long. For you. It's really easy to get stuck because you're at the end of when you've taken a breath. Once you get to the end of the breath, of course you're going to waver. It's almost natural. It's also hilarious that she felt that way because I would also do the same thing. Because it's like, no, got to redo it. Cancel. I've actually done that. There's been several times where it's like, no, the take sucks. And it's like not that bad, but because you're trained to be, perfect. You're trained to be, and classical singing is all about perfection and making sure that everything is exactly, to a T. It's yeah, that's adorable and hilarious and relatable as hell. Tiniest bit of wavering, but it doesn't really matter.
It was difficult
over time.
It was very difficult.
And she manages to
sustain.
stay in the pocket. Yeah, for all of it, really.
I tried my best.
You did your best. You didn't try your best, and you did great. Oh, key change. Okay, this key change is awesome, but all of this is hard. What the hell? All of this is hard. And this is hard. Then the dying stars, because of the range. Again, because it's not only is it a key change, but then you're also gonna double down. Even don't mind me, I've just had a ton of coffee. All of that, so hard. It's not the high notes. It's all the passaggio. This is hard. And being expressive. This is high. And then triplets. And then this is again in the lower part. And it's leapy and it skips around a lot. This is really good. That's stupid good. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes, Queen. Oh my God, that's high.
Thank you.
That's a high E. Yes. And then this. She wants to say that she couldn't sustain it. And I mean, she knows her body better than I do. And she knows her body best. But there is something to be said for going up in there, super in the pocket, really lovely. And then resetting for you. And mind you, she's not saying for you. There's no way. Everything there is for you. You're never going to go for you. First of all, the oo vowel is way too closed. And especially in the upper register, it's basically just, when you say ah, it's really up there. And there's all these other little things.
That's
love
really
the organ.
What a nice climax, too. And it key changes and it goes even
His
higher. This
reaction's
is actually a
so
pretty
cute.
damn freaking hard song. What's hard about it is that, so there's this thing in singing called tessitura.
Yes.
She can't get up over the top of it. And
Oh,
Mouse,
so she can't get up over the top of it. So I was talking about this video. So that was my bad. I edited it like a dummy. Listen to this.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet
So this is all chest voice, no head voice, which it's not Ironmouse's problem.
o'er the land of the free.
See? Then she switches into head voice and it's fine. And then she can actually go into the upper register. So that's what I was saying. I was referencing how Ironmouse's issue is not that. And my editing was bad. Here does a really interesting thing between the lower register and then going up into the upper register. The passaggio area is really nice. And I'm really impressed. I am very impressed. Cool. That is really, really well done. I think it's the kind of thing where I think if she were auditioning, I actually think she could feasibly book. I think
That's the best compliment ever. Oh my God. I can book. Bro, you guys don't understand. You guys don't understand how good that compliment is. That I could book. You think so? I'm hireable.
she could book. She really.
I'm very deep, but that's when he gets
it's amazing. She really could book. I wasn't just blowing smoke. I actually think she really could. It's the type of thing where there's a lot of opportunities and there's a lot of potential. And, all it takes is one person to see that you have talent. And that's all it takes sometimes in the opera world. And her upper register is lovely. I really would like to hear, I'd love to hear her sing some classic opera arias. Now, if she sang this, which is as hard as those, I think she could really do that now, and I think she should. I do think she's bookable. Her voice is very lovely and very gentle, but then she goes up to the upper register and she has some real power there too, which is really, really nice. And I'd love to like see her try some Regnava nel Silenzio from Lucia di Lammermoor. I'd love to see her try something from other bel canto stuff, maybe La Sonnambula. I can't remember any of the names because I find La Sonnambula so incredibly boring. I don't know why I mentioned it. I'd like to hear her sing some Daughter of the Regiment, Fille de Régiment, Marie. I'd love to hear some, I'd love to see her check out Caro Nome from Rigoletto. Caro nome che il mio cuor vesti primo rammentare. I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear some Adina from Elixir of Love. A lot of the like very classic Italian bel canto stuff I think would suit her voice incredibly well. There's also some of the lighter Giuseppe Verdi I could really hear. I'd also love to hear if she's ever done oh gosh, she would need to find a really good mezzo, but to hear her sing Lakme duet, the flower duet would be lovely as well. So let's find you a good mezzo soprano Ironmouse. I think that would be beautiful. Just so many options of just the ballad of Baby Doe would be great. There's a lot of good stuff that you could sing. It's really impressive. Her donation thing, that is mind-blowing to me on her Tiltify. I'm going to link it. She was able to raise that. I mean, her original... It is still incredible. It's incredible. Wow.
I felt stupid.
Dope.
Can you teach us more about opera, Minor Queen?
I'll try my best. I'll try my best. Stop making fun of me! No! Stop!
She's adorable.
Stop making fun of me.
She's adorable.
Bookable.
She is bookable.
Thank you guys so much for...
She is bookable, and thank you for, showcasing that video. It really meant a lot to me, and it made me feel... it reminded me of what I was able to achieve and what I was able to do. And, Mouse, if you want to get together and talk shop for a couple hours, or if you want to listen to some opera together, talk about opera, I'd love to do that with you. And if you want to sing together, I know that you said you'd be honored on Twitter, and I'm super serious about that. I think Time to Say Goodbye, the prayer, All I Ask of You from Phantom. I think a lot of the musical theater stuff would be really fun. Yeah, I'm super down. I'm also entering into my era of reigniting my love for singing, and I kind of shied away from it for really since 2019 since my last gig. So I think it'd be really fun. So yeah, thank you guys. Hopefully this was interesting. Sorry it went literally for 50 minutes, but hopefully you learned some stuff. And yeah, I'll talk to all you guys later. Thank you. Bye.